So let's restart. So Devansh, you bought your first stock at 15 and went on to manage 2,500 crore in advisory before founding your own startup OpiGo. What inspired you to build a platform tackling unreliable stock tips in India?
Correct. That's a great question. So firstly, thank you so much for inviting me. It feels great to kind of contribute from whatever I've learned and help others in their professional journey. To answer your question, I would say born in a Gujarati family, your family discussions are always around stock market and business. And that's
Businesses.
what inspired me to buy my first stock at the age of 15. And while I was investing, I myself observed many issues. I personally had many issues with how people used to decide and invest their money. And that is something that had to be fixed because the growing number of demat accounts was tremendous. And at that speed, if when 76% of people simply trust their friends and families, so there's a big gap. There's a big gap that needs to be fixed. So it was more of a personal problem. And after completing my charter accountancy, when I joined ASK Wealth, uh, I got access to some of the greatest families of India, and I was managing their portfolios over there
Great.
just to understand that when they also do their direct equity investments, they follow the same method. So it's not just this issue wasn't just at our leader level, but also at an HNI level.
So
And
you're
that's
saying
what
they
kind of
also follow unverified advice given by some family member friends?
Yeah, they get carried away. Everyone gets carried away. It's very natural to, get tempted by FOMO or, quick money
Yes.
tips. It's very, so they have a separate budget for it. That's a different thing. Like majority is obviously, under our control and professionally managed. But, you get to sense uh, the behavior and, how they perceive such news. So I thought that this is a genuine problem which needs to be fixed. And that's what, you know, made me launch OpiGo, which essentially means opinions on the go. So the whole
Mhm.
idea was to ensure that whatever opinions and trades are being circulated are verified and scored and not just random. So anyone who is saying is actually held accountable through our internal scoring system. So that's how we launched our OpiGo community.
Great. So how this scoring works, because I think hundreds of people may be sharing their opinion.
Correct.
So how your algorithm or the logics work and say, okay, this is the right advice. Do you also do some research on those stocks before marking it is safe to invest or not, or opinion
Correct.
is safe to consider or not?
Correct. So your question is on point. Now, what happens is over here, we knew that there are many communities which are running on social media, on Telegram, Reddit. So people keep talking about various stocks, and eventually a user has found their own, mentors online. Like I want to follow this stock. Whoever makes great content, they are being followed. Basically, just to put it
Yes.
in. But we don't have a track record of their actual performance. If I would have followed every trade of that one particular person, where would my portfolio be? So that transparency, that accountability, that clarity wasn't there, and is still not there on any of these social media platforms. So that's where we thought that we will also launch our own community, our own social media app, where people are posting about stocks, and the platform is scoring every user whenever they make an opinion or a prediction for any stock. So we capture the real-time prices, and we actually run an algorithm which calculates that if I would have followed all of your stocks, this is the score, this is the profit that you would have achieved. So we come up with many such metrics which is visible on every user's profile on our app. So today Pankaj joins the platform, you can start talking about various stocks, and our system is scoring you based on your actual real-time performance.
Mhm.
So before following you, or before following Pankaj, or before even taking him seriously, I will visit your profile and see your score and your track record. So that kind of
You track my trading activities before I start advising other people on the platform. Is that
we track the opinions you post on our platform. Before
Mhm.
that, whatever you have said is not something in our
That is not
purview.
a platform, right? So say if
Sorry. Yeah.
I talk about a particular stock A, so that stock A, I think you also have your research done and then you consider whether my advice is valid or not. Is that how you work, or like how many people are talking about stock A and all are talking on the same line?
This is at an individual level. So if you join the platform, you post about HDFC Bank at when it's at 1,000 rupees, for example, and today if it's at 1,200 rupees, so that's a 20% profit, right? which you have given a bullish prediction. So we consider the sentiment that you have given for a stock
Okay.
and at what price you gave, and today what is the live price. So
Okay.
that profit gets calculated in your profile score, of which we call it as OpiGo score. So now you may be talking about hundreds of such stocks. So we aggregate all of that and come up with one single OpiGo score. So it tells me where you stand and how accurate your opinions are.
Got it. Got you. So OpiGo is creating a trusted investor community of over 70,000 members, right?
That's right.
How do you see community-driven platform changing the way India approach stock investing?
Correct. So as I earlier mentioned, people were following people. It was just happening backdoors. It was just happening, very informally, not in a very unorganized way. So
Today also it
usually
happens, right? Today also it happens.
today also it's happening. So that is always going to continue. Stock market, you can put it in two ways. One is that a user would simply do their own research, only follow their own thesis and then invest in stocks, which is happening, but only like barely 4 to 5% would be actually genuinely doing their own research and not following any noise and making the trades. But the remaining part of the population is actually following other experts or other users or the ones they know or the ones they found on online. So this community driven approach was always there. It wasn't just organized, and that is what we are trying to do. We are making it very formal. We are bringing everyone on one platform and keeping their opinions and trades very transparently with a
Okay.
score, with a layer of scoring. So it kind of becomes very simple for a new first time investor.
Got it. So when hiring for OpiGo, what skills and qualities do you most value?
When hiring for OpiGo. So this kind of is a broad question, but I'll try to answer. When hiring, so we usually hire for different roles and for different levels. When it comes to tech, things are very different. When it comes to product, again, things are very different. And but for any startup, when they are hiring, it's mainly around how good they are in and how curious they are and how good they are at problem solving.
Okay.
So because usually when you hire someone for one role, it's 90% of the times they will be doing many more roles. So it's not always they are stuck with one role. So this is the kind of breed or of Indian startups. So one needs to actually know the product very well. They need to resonate the problem that I'm solving,
Okay.
or else it becomes very transactional. Today, I'm from this date till this date, I'm with you. Okay, I'm working on this, then I'll again jump. That thing doesn't work in a startup because startups are
Yes.
born out of passion and some problem solving element. So till the time you don't resonate with what we are actually building, it becomes difficult. Remaining all the skills, all the knowledge, all the theory can be acquired. But something that can't be instilled in you is the curiosity and
Yes.
the urge to solve the problem.
But how in an interview, say you identify these qualities, these traits?
Oh, yeah, that is so we have a very formal form that a user fills, which is strategically asking the right set of questions, which kind of you get a gut feeling of how, like whether this person is just switching jobs, it's for higher CTC, or they actually want to solve the problem. So, I'll give you an example. Uh, Three of my hirings were OpiGo users.
Okay.
So they were using our platform and on a daily basis. They understood the problem. So that's how I ended up hiring my first QA engineer. So
Great.
he came up with a report that, okay, I've been using our app for a month and I feel that these are the things that we can work on. These are the bugs that I have found out. So he was an OpiGo user. He had invested quite some money using our platform. That's a different story. But my point being that he understood the product and he believed in the product very well, and then he applied for the
Told
job.
you.
Correct. Same with my product team. So that person was our user for more than 8 months.
Great.
So
So they have
these
the product, they know what you are trying to solve, and
exactly,
they also want to contribute.
exactly. So that in our case, I was lucky enough to find a team that kind of was an OpiGo user before they became an OpiGo employee. So that was kind of beneficial to me. But again, if I had to be a little more uh, uh, concrete in my answer to your question. So it would be, I definitely, you know, uh, so past experience is something, that becomes very valuable to me. So that my efforts on grooming the person kind of, reduces, and definitely some qualifications here and there, which kind of ensures that the person is well read, aware about the concepts of whatever department I'm hiring in.
Okay, okay. So how your expectation changes with when you hire inexperienced people versus the fresher?
Correct. So whenever we do interviews with people who are highly experienced, so they are required to run that particular department on their own, as if they own that segment. Then my onus or my responsibility or my interference has to be very minimal. Or else, for a company at my level, there's no point hiring an experienced guy if that person is not thinking like a founder and is not going to lead a particular segment. It becomes very difficult for me to, afford that kind of salary, still make that person not be held accountable, and also kind of be equally involved to ensure that he is executing his work directly. So for me, when it comes to hiring experienced folks, they have to lead that thing, they have to own that thing end to end. And for that, whatever qualifications, whatever past experience is required, that needs to be there. When it comes to a fresher, uh, to be honest, I am immaterial about, where they come from,
Yeah.
whether they even have any past experience or no, or they have any qualification. I have never, really checked which university they have graduated from. Like, I'm just indifferent to it, because for me, freshers are like a clean slate. So I get to, groom them in a way which will be, much more practical and much more action oriented. So like, it's like I just need a human who is curious enough to learn, what is going to be coming on the board to him or her. So so this is how kind of I assess
Okay.
experienced versus freshers while hiring.
Good that you also give freshers chance, right, to learn. And
Absolutely,
I think
always.
whether they are curious to learn, ready to learn, right, whether they have that ability, and not just right where from say they have graduated, what course or certifications that
Correct.
they have done. Okay. So what are the early red flags or say green flags you signal or you get right uh, while taking interviews?
Right. So early red flags would be, someone who is just money oriented. That usually never helps. If you just talk about, so I had an interview where, my discussions were more on the negotiation, but the person didn't even know what is the app about or what features the app is having. Nothing on that sort, but how much I'm going to get, uh, uh, ensuring that all the benefits, this and that. So the focus is always on that. And it was good because that person kind of was just jumping places, which we got to know later on. And so sometimes I feel that if you are doing good, your compensation is going to come along the way. Because after a point,
Knowledge.
if my yeah, no, because if you're doing good, if you understand the product, if my efforts are very low when it comes to explaining you something, then tomorrow morning I'm dependent on you. So if you ask for a raise, I'll be like, no, I'm going to pay you rather than, grooming a new person.
So a company or a founder never want to lose their assets, right? And human is
Never.
a big asset in a
Absolutely.
startup.
Absolutely. Because
Okay.
today in the world of startups, finding, passionate people, finding people who and finding employees, and not even founders, finding employees who are also as passionate or resonates the problem that you are trying to solve, it's very difficult. It's not easy.
Yes.
Usually why people come and join startups is because of the perks that you get, because okay, funding mila hai, so I can, easily negotiate. So there are two set of people. One is who actually wants to contribute and, work towards the impact, and second is like, I'm just going to jump on the funding ride. So if
Right.
you come across people who are actually, kind of resonating your issue, that's an asset that you need to preserve. Then compensation here and there shouldn't matter,
Right.
at least
What
to
is a
me.
green flag for you then?
Green flag would be just vice versa of what I answered right now.
Money
Someone with,
oriented,
yeah,
focused, and understand your problem statement and willing to work long term for you.
willing to work long term. To be honest, if someone comes up to me and says that, okay, when I want to launch my own venture, I have a soft spot for those kind of people. Somehow, it's not good for my business, but I kind of, fully support that. If someone is saying that I want to do something of my own, then I don't kind of, go hard on them to retain them. I am like very, I let go of that, because that is something I have done with my at my workplace, and I kind of fully support people who want to launch their own ventures or entrepreneurs. But just to add one question, communication is also very important when it comes how clearly and how transparently you can communicate. If you don't have any domain expertise, but if you communicate in the right way, saying that I'll get back to you, if this is what you have to say, but if you communicate in a good way, balance it out, when you're talking to your employer or you're talking to your client, whoever it is, so that communication also plays an extremely important role, because it's ultimately what you say is going to be heard. If you that's a very underrated soft skill, is what I would like to highlight. Communication, sometimes I also get angry at someone, but if the person is just very clear, okay, I know, but because of XYZ reason this happened, I ensure it won't happen again, it kind of just fizzles you out. So that I feel somewhere communication plays an extremely crucial role, and it's a big green flag for me, if you
Okay.
ask.
That is absolute these days, right? It is non-negotiable. Right. So for students or early career professionals aspiring to work in wealth management, fintech, or investment communities, like investment banking career they want to make, right? What's your one piece of advice to stand out?
Right. uh, So fintech, wealth management, and investment banking, if you had to kind of just divide all of these, the entire financial service segment, uh, from a hiring perspective, you can put it in three baskets. First basket would be your sales side. Like wherever you join, there has to be a sales side, which is like a key driving factor for any company. So, you may be applying for a sales side role. Second would be for a product side role. For a fintech, product means the mobile app or the softwares that they have. For a wealth management company, it may be the products that you are selling, mutual funds or AIF. So having domain knowledge on taxation of each and every product, what products are doing, who are running those products, whatever it is. So the product domain knowledge. And third would be the regulation part, because the entire financial service is heavily regulated. And if a person is having regulatory knowledge, like that's icing on the cake. Like that is very, very important. So, from a hiring, I'm assuming this question is more from a hiring standpoint,
Okay.
from getting a role. So first, one should keep in mind that these are the three kind of broad level uh, key segments where you can apply for a job, and you decide which one you want to pick. If it's the sales side, you need to know who are the players, who are not the. So basically, domain knowledge in all three is very important. And for that, I think, that is where when you take up more courses, you learn over and above the degree that you have taken. All these things add up a lot, because that's the only source of knowledge that you have. No one can expect great experience out of you, past companies or experience out of you, but they can always expect great theory knowledge out of you, which can only come from courses. So I feel somewhere.
Minimum thing, bare minimum expectations these days people have, like it, but
Exactly.
equally people put weightage on practical skills that you bring in the table, right?
For freshers, I mean, practical skills, that ask becomes a too heavy, like it becomes a heavy ask. If I'm a fresher, how can you expect practical experience out of me? Soft skills and your side courses
At
that you
least
have
you
done.
know how, say if somebody is joining investment banking team, how
Correct.
to do equity research, right? The fundamentals of doing this research or creating a financial model, right? If you have
Exactly.
already built few financial model yourself, right, you will understand how it can be done, right? At least those kind of hands-on learning they may look for. That's what I meant
Exactly.
for when I say practical experience, not just like making real deals, real M&A deals or real IPO valuation you have done, but at least some simulations you have done, some real world projects, right? That mimics the real world projects you have done.
And I think this, what you pointed out, chances of a person working in an IB deal may be fairly low even after he's employed, he or she's employed, because IB deals just don't crack. So you may not get an assignment to work on, but what you can work on or what you can contribute is the theory knowledge that you have possessed from your education or whatever courses you take up. There are so many online courses available today, paid, free, whatever it is. I mean, but that is not there. There are no entry barriers in that. So if you have 7 days a week, you should be, going out of your way to get as much knowledge as possible, because that is going to be a key asset for anyone. And that is very easy to identify if how learned a person is, how well aware the person is of the ongoing, uh, uh, affairs. So that kind of, you can easily get to know about it. And especially it helps freshers get selected or stand out from the entire, list of
Yeah.
CVs that a company receives. We have 4,000 CVs right now in our inbox. So, it's very difficult to, there has to be certain metrics to kind of filter them out.
So what are the like general metrics that you look for? 4,000 CVs, right? So how you then shortlist few candidates?
Yeah. So, I mean, the first level check would definitely be if their kind of compensation is aligned with what we want to pay. Second would be if they are open to working from home, if they would like to resettle in Mumbai. Those kind of, deal breaker metrics is what we usually filter out with. So 40% of them, kind of get filtered out right over there. And then comes the entire domain knowledge. Then the round that happens is mainly on the domain knowledge that I just mentioned. And I just want to know how if can I have a communication with this guy on my business? If that is not a thing, then it's just like,
That gives you an idea about how deep his knowledge is into your domain.
then I should enjoy talking to my employee, right? If I have an idea, I should feel excited to brainstorm this idea with my employee of idea relevant to his department, like it be it tech or be it product or be it regulations, whatever it
Being
is. So as a founder, I should enjoy talking to my employees, right? And that's the whole idea. And I should feel at par. Okay, no, if I pass this idea to him, I'm going to get something, good, valuable feedback from him or her. So that only comes with domain knowledge. Practical experience helps, but as I mentioned, that is for an experience category hiring, which is to be dealt with in a very different manner. But when it comes to freshers, I mean, the person needs to know what is happening, and that can only come through all of these courses that people usually opt for.
So what roles and skill will be the most in demand in the next 5 years, according to you?
Correct. Ability to use AI effectively to reduce your time and efforts. Today everyone is talking about AI, but that's like, I mean, I know AI can solve things, but how? Practically, how can I use AI? How can I plug and play in my 10 problems that I'm, having at my company? How do I plug and play? Practically, how do I use that AI? What is that AI? Whether AI is some website that I have to go on to, whether it's some software that I have to plug and play. So it's very broadly spoken about, but practically, people who can use AI agents very effectively to solve a particular task, to show some direct results, so that the user can think, spend time more on the thinking part and the strategy part rather than execution part. That's what AI is being focusing on right now, correct? To simplify the execution.
Got it.
So, so AI, it's not just another trend. It's going to be a movement. It is already a movement, like the internet.
It is
So
like
I
must
feel
to have knowledge these days, right? How to use and when to use. That is also
when
important.
to use, yeah. And because there are many AIs available, how do you filter the AI? What is relevant to you? What are the safety, aspects around it? Is that AI that you're using regulated enough, or can you? What are the privacy policies? It's not just AI; it's much more than that. And this can only come when you have, you can think and question in the right way. So I feel
Correct.
someone who can use AI effectively is going to be an asset, because remaining all things are very standard, as you mentioned, soft skills and this and that. But with changing times, you need to think, you need to take a step back and think fresh with a fresh mind.
Correct. So if you had to share one lesson that guided you from managing well to building OpiGo, what would it be?
So you mean to say, when I, like, from why did I leave my job in that sense, or
So one lesson that guided you from managing well to building your own startup. If you have to
correct?
share that one lesson with our audience, what would it be?
That's a very difficult question. Finding that one thing that kind of helps you, uh, you know, pave your way. But I would say, it wasn't difficult, and it's still not. Sorry, it wasn't easy, and it's still not easy. I mean, every day, I come up with new issues to think about that. Okay, this might come up, or this has already come up. I have to fix it. So it's every day. You come across very demotivating factors. even during my job time, even during my time at OpiGo, building OpiGo. So keeping everything aside, the domain knowledge that we spoke about, the communication thing, this and that, your attitude that okay, I will हो जाएगा कि इसको कर लेंगे हम लोग कि कुछ नहीं यार अभी के लिए तो let's have lunch, you roll up your sleeves and again uh, take a sip of water and you again kind of get in the game. So that not to give up attitude that no, I will find a workaround, I will find a way out of this. So that one trait which I was blessed with, so I kind of don't get demotivated very easily. I mean, I kind of keep fighting till the end. So that actually helped me during my job also, during the decision that I took to leave my job and start OpiGo, enter a field that I had never experienced before, and also while building OpiGo. So this one lesson was constant that no, yaar, we'll fight it out. कुछ देख लेंगे साथ में manage कर लेंगे. So this one lesson is that you don't give up. We keep hearing people say that one should not give up. You read quotes, but it's kind of very done and dusted. I mean, कुछ नया बोलो कुछ. But sometimes these are the golden words. Yeah, I mean, these are the things that actually matter. I mean, I know you want to hear something exciting, but this is what
These are
it
the
is.
core traits that one should have, right? You can't give
Absolutely,
up on things.
you can't.
You just need to continue building it, and you will get your success.
Absolutely, that is. I firmly believe in that.
Thank you, Devas, for joining us today at our podcast, right? So I think my audience will get more insights from it, particularly that like continuous learning is important, and people still in industry look for skills, knowledge, and not just college degree that you spoke about, right? And not to give up is the attitude the people should have, right? All this that you mentioned, right, will give our audience a confidence that yes, they can also build, they can also learn, and at the same time get good job from the skills currently they have. Thank you once again, Devas, for joining us today.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.